Our top story today from the gatewaypundit.com. Elon Musk sounds off a warning to Americans after Brazil bans X, formerly known as Twitter. We're covering this story and so much more here on the Gateway Pundit's Weekend Review. My name is Elijah Schaffer, and this is the Gateway Pundit's Weekend Review, where we cover the top 5 stories of the last 24 hours in around 10 minutes. Our top story today comes from Christina Lila, who reports that Elon Musk is warning America after X is banned for this insane reason. Let's talk about this. Elon Musk fired off a warning to Americans after radical Brazilian Supreme Court Justice Alexander de Moraes blocked X in Brazil. The Brazilian Supreme Court Justice claimed that he is banning X from Brazil because Elon Musk refused to name a legal representative to the country. X's Global Affairs disputed this Thursday evening. Soon we expect Judge Alexander de Moraes will order X to be shut down in Brazil, simply because we would not comply with his legal orders to censor his political opponents. These enemies, including a duly elected senator and a 16-year-old girl, among others, Global Affairs said. Now, when we attempted to defend ourselves in court, Judge de Moraes threatened our Brazilian legal representative with imprisonment. Even after she resigned, he froze all her bank accounts. Our challenges against his manifestly illegal actions were either dismissed or ignored. Judge de Moraes' colleagues on the Supreme Court are either unwilling or unable to stand up to him. It says here that we expect this directly from their Global Affairs. By Friday afternoon, X was banned in Brazil. Elon Musk showed his total disrespect for Brazilian sovereignty and in particular for the judiciary, setting himself up as a true supranational entity and immune to the laws of each country. Justice Alexander de Moraes wrote in his decision. The justice said that a platform will stay suspended until it complies with his orders, and also set a daily fine of $8,900 for people or companies using VPNs to access it, according to the Associated Press. Elon Musk lashed out at Brazilian Supreme Court Justice and called him an evil dictator, which is exactly what he is. Elon Musk warned that free speech likely won't exist if Kamala Harris wins the 2024 election. Censorship is certainly a certainty if Dem wins. Elon Musk said in response to an X user claiming that he wouldn't be surprised to see X suspended in the U.S. if the Democrats came into power again. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have repeatedly attacked free speech. Tim Walz famously said there is no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy. The First Amendment and the U.S. Supreme Court say otherwise. You can watch the rest of it there. Now, the reason why this is dramatically different than anything going on before, you have the CEO of Telegram being arrested on child pornography charges or distributing it, obviously not because he was involved in it, but because his platform was said to have been used to share it. What's crazy is if we're arresting tech CEOs for the dissemination of child pornography, then every tech CEO would likely have to be arrested of any major platform, not because they're involved in that kind of illegal smut, but the fact that the contraband is often shared on their websites regardless of the safety protocols they put in place. Now, in bigger news as well, Rumble's already banned in France and in Brazil, but now they're coming after X because why? They say it threatens their democracy. Well, we can expect more of that in our country if we don't get fighting for the right things. Our next story comes from Christina Lila, who reports that a crowd cheers as a protester who tried to breach security gets manhandled and tossed from Trump's Johnstown rally. President Trump is holding a massive rally in Western Pennsylvania at First Summit Arena at Napoleon Street in Johnstown. The line to see Trump in Johnstown wrapped around the highway. You can watch the video there. Now, this is President Trump's first rally in Western Pennsylvania since the attempted assassination in Butler on July 13th. A man tried to disrupt Trump's rally, and he promptly learned his lesson. But don't believe me. Listen and watch the video for yourself. The crowd cheers as the man is manhandled.
An amazing thing. You are two American flags. Actually, in 2016 we did great, but 2020 we did much better in general. Since the moment we did talk about her,
Well, they best not be taking any risks, especially with what happened in Pennsylvania, and not let alone what's continuing to be a threat towards Donald Trump's safety. Remember, the attack on free speech goes beyond us. The Mug Club, Stephen Crowder's undercover unit, recently unearthed an interview with a United Nations officer explaining that they want people to be global citizens. They don't want us to have autonomy, and free speech is one of their roadblocks to getting and accomplishing their ideas of removing and stripping our rights, especially as Americans. They find that America First is a antithetical ideology, a toxic ideology that gets in the way of what they want, which is universal global control. And so when people threaten Trump's safety like they did recently with the attempted assassination, it's really good that they keep, this stuff locked down. Speaking of the devil, Tim Walz, the man who's running for vice president with Kamala Harris, Tim Walz's own brother considers joining forces with Trump, slams governor as unfit to make decisions about your future. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's own brother, Jeff Walz, has reportedly considered joining forces with former President Donald Trump, publicly criticizing his brother as not the type of character that you want making decisions about your future. The discovery was made by conservative journalist Laura Loomer, who uncovered Jeff Walz's Facebook profile, which contains a series of posts highly critical of both his brother and the current administration. One post dated back in May 2023, the same day the Biden and Harris administration indicted Donald Trump in New York City. He reads, "We've just become a third world banana republic." When prompted by a follower to discuss these concerns with his brother, Jeff revealed that he hasn't spoken to Tim in 8 years and is 100% opposed to all of his ideology. He further claimed that his family was blindsided by Tim's political rise and denied security after being selected for office. "I haven't spoken to him in 8 years. I'm 100% opposed to all his ideology. My family wasn't given any notice that he was selected and denied security the days after," he wrote. Have a talk with your brother. Some said haven't spoke to him. Now, another common encounter, Jeff Walz to help MAGA get on stage with President Trump and endorse him, help save the country. Jeff's response was equally telling, saying, "I have thought hard about doing something like that. I'm torn between that and just keeping my family out of it. The stories I could tell, not the type of character you want making decisions about your future." Man, I understand that siblings have sibling rivalries, so, you can't take everything at face value, but I have to agree. Tim Walz and his comments about free speech have me more than alarmed. His policies during COVID have me quite fearful. If these people get into power, then really they're not getting into power. They're just keeping in power the deep state and those that are pulling the strings. And God forbid we go through another 4 years of them in control of the economy and the world. Our next story is about USPS. We don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but it's important to mention a new complaint was filed alleging that the U.S. Postal Service committed electoral fraud in the 2020 presidential election. This is by Elijah Johnstown. A new development that merits attention. A complaint was filed on Friday before the U.S. District Court in Maryland, presenting evidence that the USPS acted illegally in shipping at least 1 million mail-in ballots from a facility in Bethpage, New York, to Pennsylvania in 2020. The suit was brought by attorney Brian Della Rocca, but the critical evidence was collected by two friends, John Moynihan and Larry Doyle. Full disclosure, I have known John since 1998, and we were partners in Berg Associates, LLC. John, in my opinion, is one of the best financial and forensic investigators in the world, hands down. The bottom line is that the truck driver, Jesse Morgan, picked up the container with 20 Gaylord boxes. There were mail-in ballots in each of the Gaylord. A Gaylord can hold from 50,000 up to 100,000 ballots. Do the math. And of course, the complaint is being lodged. As we know, there's many sketchy things happening during the last election, but it's almost like people just don't want to believe it. We saw so many irregularities, downright fraud, and some illegal discrepancies, not allowing the poll watchers in, the water main break. You cannot forget, of course, the fact that, even Pennsylvania is now saying there's no way to count all the ballots on election night. This is a relatively new idea. We've never had this before. Why do we have this? Well, obviously, it's because they want to rig the election. Lastly, in a quite interesting news on censorship, a court says Let's Go Brandon can be censored by a school. Constitutional experts warn us it's a dangerous precedent. A federal court ruling has allowed a school to censor Let's Go Brandon, preventing students from wearing the popular social media meme on shirts. But a constitutional expert warns that it is a dangerous precedent that will move the nation established on the basis of free speech the wrong direction. Constitutional expert Jonathan Turley, a law professor at George Washington University, has testified before Congress on constitutional issues and even represented members in court. He cited the case of DA in Michigan, a student ordered to remove his sweater with the phrase on it. The decision was from Judge Paul Maloney. Maloney rejects the free speech claim and rules the school officials can punish a student for wearing a Let's Go Brandon t-shirt. The slogan is a familiar political battle cry, not just against Biden, but against the bias of the media. It's very interesting that our kids are always put at the center of the fight for free speech. Now, if you like this story and you want to get more of these every day, don't forget to drop a comment, like this video, and if you want to subscribe to our Mug Club. My name is Elijah Schaffer. Thank you for watching the Gateway Pundits Week in Review. Have a great rest of the week, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.